actually got through college on the import-export game. I would meet girls out of state and then just fly them in. My mom would send the cars to the airport to pick them up. This girl came up to me and she asked me for a picture. I said, you can either have a photo or you can have my number, but you can't have both.
Oh, that's good.
She was like, I want the photo.
No way.
Drake and LeBron are friends, supposedly. LeBron goes to the Kendrick concert. Why does he go to that concert? Unless you're trying to make a point that you don't like your friend anymore.
Joseph has a rivalry.
I wouldn't say a rivalry, but yeah.
Well, it's definitely not a rivalry because the other
beef.
comedian doesn't even know that it happened.
You always say this. He always says this. That's not true. When you meet your person, you don't feel like a need. You don't feel like you're giving up anything. That's how you know.
But I still date.
Like once
Like,
you get
you gotta-
married, the
you-
dating doesn't
yeah,
stop.
like,
I thought you did someone else.
No, fool.
Because you said I still date. If you have sex, right, in a course,
Oh, that's a long word.
and you wear prophylactics, do you believe that doesn't count?
Good luck.
Hey everyone, I'm Chloe Kaminskis, aka Chlomonsta, along with your hosts Jaleel White and Joseph Vecsey, and this is Everybody Lurks.
I really want to know seriously what young guys are going after right now. Because I'll be honest with you, like that was one of the things that actually probably made me want to get married. Was I just can't stand apps and online dating and the impersonal nature of what dating is now. Like I really come from the generation of where you had to put yourself out there and ask for a girl's number and suggest that you do something more than just grab a coffee. You know, hey, this is a date. What's up?
Would you be one to go up to a girl cold completely with not working together, don't know her, like literally going up to someone across the room?
Yeah. When I was younger, I would definitely do that.
And what would you say? Because I've never been able to do that.
One, it depends. The only thing that made it really uncomfortable for me is when she had a pack of friends, and I was by myself. Because people typically knew who I was just at facial recognition.
Right.
So it kind of put me at a social disadvantage.
Yeah.
Because if they just weren't impressed on the walk up, I could get played. Not even by her, but just by one of her friends. Just goofing around.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I typically like to try to find. I had good wingmen in my 20s and 30s. Like I had, as fellas, we were never deep. But if I had Craig with me, if I had Sel, if I had Josh, if I had some of these guys that I used to run with, they were all tall or charismatic guys themselves. And you need that, because those are the guys that are going to set the screen in a social situation for you to just organically be what's up. I was never a dude that I felt like any pressure, like I needed to like have like a opening line or any crap like that or whatever. It was like, I was just quick to get the party started if I got the look.
But now, if you were completely unknown, would you have felt comfortable doing it as well? Because you do have a head start.
It's hard to imagine life being, for me, from my perspective, of being completely unknown.
No, I know, dude.
It's my reality.
You've been acting since. I don't want to go too much of a tangent, but I'm just saying. But that is a crazy point you made because you've been acting since 3.
Yeah.
So that is when most people say that even if they were child actors, okay, I don't know what it's like to be unknown. But for you, since 3, that really is an accurate statement. I do not know what it's not like to be unknown. Like when I saw,
you don't have to like me, but chances are you're gonna know me, or somebody around you is gonna know me. And I'm saying in a social situation where you're trying to spit game when you were young, that made for an awkward situation. I remember this one girl in college, man. And the story means a lot to me because it was just I was at a very impressionable age, and I just remember it was one of the most beautiful days at UCLA in the spring. It was like when the girls started shaving again and the skin started coming out, and it was April. It was like all of a sudden it was just like. All these girls who've been walking around you through December and January are just prettier today, and the sky is sparkling. And we were the black folks used to gather on the steps and on Bruin Walk and in the springtime. So everybody was out there. It was kind of like a few of our Bruin basketball players, etc. And it was one of those rare days where I wasn't on the set. I had a hiatus week. So I got a chance to spend the entire week on UCLA's campus. Mm-hmm. So even that, I was at a disadvantage. Like my first week of school might not have been the first week of school, and all the freshmen have just been attacked by by every athlete that we have, right? So this one particular girl, I was just like, I had my eye on her for a minute, and she was just, she was inside of a pack of girls. But she was within in my distance, and I was like, it was one of those things where I was sitting on the steps with my boys, and I was just like trying to get her like, come here, right? And she finally did. Like, she saw me trying to get her attention for a minute, and her girls were distracting her on purpose. Yeah. But then it was like, come here. So she moseyed over. But even then, when she comes over, they're staring. So I know every interaction that I have with her. I'm not getting the real her. I'm getting the person she's putting on for her girls standing over there now, right? Yeah. And I'm telling you, like, I was a cornball, man. I was a real Captain Save-'em. I was really romantic. And I was just like, do you have any classes for the rest of the day? And she's just like, no, I'm done for the day. I'm done for the day too. I was just like, you want to get out of here? I was like, I really just, it's such a beautiful day. I said, I'd love to take you to Gladstone's. And Gladstone's used to be a cool spot in LA. It's a beachside restaurant, peanuts on shells on the ground. But it used to be a spot that was like, oh, we're going to Gladstone's on the beach. Great. Yeah. I wasn't trying to show off. I wasn't trying to be fancy. If I was trying to be fancy, I'd be like, you want to go to Giorgio's, right? But I was like, but instead I was like, yo, you want to go to Gladstone's?
Yeah, it seems genuine.
And she literally hit me with, I was gonna, kind of just like do some, errands and like wash my hair tonight. And,
the washing hair.
She hit me with wash my hair.
Is hilarious, so because I've said that. I've said like
and I'm like, I'm hurt, but I'm playing it off because her girls are waiting for the walk back. Like, yo, what was that all about? And I'm like, no, I'm like, it's a really beautiful day. Like, I don't want nothing. I'm just telling you, like, we should just make the most of it. That's how I love to take you to Gladstone. We just hop in the car and just see where it goes from there. And she stuck by I am washing my hair. And I'm like,
did you ask her how long it takes to wash her hair?
I was so mortified. I was just like, really? I played it cool because I was just like, really? You gonna stick with that?
You're like, you're doing a hair mask? Yeah. Or like you're getting coconut oil? Like, what's kind of going on with this hair mask or like this hair washing?
Are you gonna, like, basically, like, is that the one you want to walk away from this, on? Like, yeah, I wash my hair.
Because imagine she knows what she's saying. Rather than spend time with you and enjoy the day, I'd rather go inside and shampoo my hair. It was such a social environment, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't even really coming at her like, like, I want to try to get with you, girl. I'm trying to take it. It's like, nah. I was like,
it's a beautiful day.
I'm like, and I remember this day, like, sure, I'm a 15-year-old kid later now, and I'm like, I remember this day.
You remember that day.
And I'm just like, man, like, let's go to Gladstone's, man. I got you. Like, we can do anything tonight too. Wow. We can go to the movies. We can go to the pier. I'm just that kind of romantic guy where I'm like, she could have thrown out any, idea, and I'd have been taking her Erewhon before Erewhon. I'm like,
for content. You'd have taken her out for content.
I just had her on that. I had her on that pedestal. So, by the way, she turned me down, and I was like, all right, cool. I'll see you around sometime. And then I could tell she went back and did the chatty thing with her girls. And I used to deal with that a lot on campus, where if I liked a girl, it created more conversation before I could get anywhere with her anyway. So it was like, damn, this is whack. So I actually got through college on the import-export game, which is a completely separate conversation. I would meet girls out of state and then just fly them in. So I didn't really hook up with a lot of girls at UCLA.
Wait, and how did you meet the girls out of state?
Yeah.
Like, if I was like visiting one of my boys, it was like in the league or something like that, or I was doing a personal appearance or something for work in another state.
Right.
If I met a girl in another state, it was a bad habit to pick up because I picked it up from NBA ball players.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But it was like, it was different back then.
Yeah.
It was like, wait a minute, I just met you, and you're really saying you'll pay for me to come out to LA? Like, yeah. No strings attached. And this is the part you really laugh at. My mom would send the cars to the airport to pick them up.
So she knew exactly what the situation was?
My mom would send the car. Because my mom likes being in control. And it took me years to realize that. My mom loves some element of control.
Okay, I don't want to get too. I had a lot of thoughts in that comment there that I wanted to say, but I want to respect your mom.
It's nothing creepy.
No, I didn't say creepy. No, I just meant that she.
My mom got me my prom date. It was just like she just.
Right.
It's always.
But getting your prom date and then
fire.
making sure the hoes come in on time. That's a good mom.
I will not allow you to call these girls hoes.
Okay, well,
I will not.
Not his imports and exports.
Well, okay.
I will
These were not hoes.
I will not support that characterization, sir.
These
what's
were
a better
imported
better
women.
name?
Would you talk about oysters like
girls-
that if they're flown from Maine?
Oysters could kill you. Oysters could kill you.
And these girls couldn't? These girls
They
couldn't?
could.
They could.
They could.
You
don't know what they were carrying with.
I've had a very different life for the
No, really.
for the purposes of saving money and also being private. She would handle stuff like that for me.
Well, can I
Yeah.
just say I love that. I wish I don't have that relationship with my parents. So that's nice that she looked out for you and you guys were comfortable. Hey, mom, I have a nice. Let me say it. Correct myself. A very nice lady who I think will make me wait
He learned.
a few dates.
She's from South Carolina, and she
Probably hasn't had. Probably a virgin. She's gonna fly in.
absolutely.
She's coming in under the pretenses of this is just about dinner and a beautiful relationship. And we'd like to fly her in and pick her up in a beautiful town car. And that's it.
I can just imagine this an Annie, Daddy Warbucks situation where she's like, wow, Los Angeles.
No, that's really kind of what it would be sometimes. I kind of actually that would actually end up being kind of a turn off to me sometimes if they arrived and I could tell they were just more into the scene,
the experience of
and
being
it's
flown out.
I traveled so much that I didn't realize in the 90s and 2000s that what a luxury and treat it was to just be in New York and be like, oh, I'm going to LA for the weekend.
Yeah.
Right. So that was a flex. And it was I wasn't trying to flex from my holistic intentions.
Yeah.
I was not dating very well on my campus. It's you got it's like Barron Trump right now, right?
Yeah.
I see all these reports about him at
NYU.
NYU, and he's so followed, and that's even on a whole nother level. I mean, this guy's got Secret Service. He's 6'9".
Yeah.
He stands out in every way.
Right.
He can't ask out any girl
Right.
without it being wildfire
Right.
everywhere. Who he spoke to for how long, and did she accept? Did she turn him down? But even without social media, you still had that issue back then. So if I went to visit, one of my boys played in the ACC, and I loved popping up and watching him play when they'd have a Wake Forest weekend or a Georgia Tech weekend. I catch both games, and if I met some girls on campus or something like that, and I had a connection with one of them in particular, I'd be like, hey, I'd love for you to come out and visit me in LA. And then after that, I would just give her information to my mom, and everything else was.
So because your mom was
handled.
more like your assistant in that way.
Yeah, in that way, she was kind of an assistant. Yeah, she was.
But but it also feels good that you had a nice dynamic with your parents that talking about something with a girl, or not per se sexual, but it's implied, and you guys are okay talking about it. With my parents, had none of that. It was uncomfortable.
Wow.
Couldn't even I remember my dad in high school.
My dad put condoms in my hand for the first time.
Okay, so that's okay. So that's amazing.
I was like, whoa, what are you doing?
You know what my dad did?
He was like, you need these now.
How old were you when this happened?
I was 17.
Okay.
I was 17.
But that would never happen for you. That would never be a situation with your parents where they'd be like, hey, here's, contraception.
No, literally the opposite. When I was in 12th grade, my dad came to the apartment where I was staying, and he said, he just awkwardly said, I found your prophylactics. And I was like, first of all,
you're not having a fun conversation about girls with a dad who uses the word prophylactics.
And I'm like,
prophylactics.
And I'm like, why? But so when they made it, I would not do that with my kids, where I'm like, it made it uncomfortable to this day that I do not feel comfortable talking about anything. It makes me uneasy.
Wow.
Even when I have if I was dating a new person, it would take me a long time to even tell my mom until I was like, okay, now it's serious enough where I obviously got to tell them. But telling them about girls hooking up, never would even share that for a second. And now when my dad tries to act chummy with me, oh, look at this girl, I'm like, ugh, I don't want to hear that shit. It makes me uncomfortable.
Wow.
But I'm amazed that you could do that, go up to a girl. I've only done that once in my life. And I was going,
Oh,
this.
no, I love it. We used to, back in the day, there was a word for that is to holler.
Well, here's the thing I do well.
Like that would be like the way I would approach it.
If there's
if
there's a conversation starter and something to play off of, that's where I would thrive, and then I could ask a girl out quickly. But if this is just transactional and there's nothing to pull from, that's where it becomes hard. Because most things, I think any girl I've talked to, I've met, there's been some reason for an interaction, some type of conversation, even if it's the smallest thing. Ordering something and no real conversation doesn't give you anything to play off.
See, that's what
that was what held me back.
Wow,
interesting.
Because there was nothing there to.
I wish you hadn't had that fear, Joseph.
I know. I wish I didn't have that fear either.
I wish you hadn't had that fear, and I'll pass that on to you too as well. It was like if you're well intentioned,
yeah,
and you actually have something to offer, like I said, what time you get off.
Right.
My friends, we're going over here. I think you need to come make a memory with us. That might sound like game, but I'm about to pay that off. I got some cool guys that are coming down. There some cool chicks that are coming down. We're not asking you to, contribute anything other than your presence.
Right.
And if we have a great time, it's like, dude, I literally just got off work and now I'm having drinks and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, these guys are all fun. We're throwing darts. We're doing our thing.
Yeah.
That interaction feels so lost for today's generation.
No, totally. That
just, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like it builds character. It builds who you are. It sets, like, I'm at an age now where I got to be real with you. I'm like, I'm almost afraid of strangers. So
yeah,
I know that's gone forever. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, I remember one time I hit a girl with this one. Oh, this one hurt. This one hurt too. This girl came up to me and she asked me for a picture. And it was like, damn, I always hated it when somebody I was attracted to then would ask me for a picture in a fan way. Because now I got to determine quickly.
Right.
Do I have a shot or am I just, a photo to show later on? And did I do that caption? People act like this stuff isn't predictable. Yeah. Right? And I'm like, and I told her, I said, hey, I'll tell you what. I said, you can either have a photo or you can have my number, but you can't have both.
Oh, that's good. Oh, I like that.
She was like, I want the photo.
No way.
That's so awkward though. Then to take the picture.
So
was that like a sad picture? Then
I am not at all, because I consider myself extremely approachable. As long as people approach me respectfully, man, I can cut through a whole crowd and everybody got what they wanted. They got their photos. I got where I needed to get to.
You are approachable.
And it was like, I consider myself approachable. The only thing that makes me, the only thing that makes it uncomfortable is when you have people that are just not considerate of other people. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like they already have the camera out. They're saying obnoxious things or, so I consider myself approachable. So when that happened, I was like, okay, cool. And in my mind, it was actually like, cool, she's not feeling me, but she's about to get this picture. And, I'm doing my part as a public figure. Take the picture, like, I'm half a step away. And she's like... I
love the way you said, but she's about to get this picture. She could have got this dick, but she got this picture.
Could have had that too.
Yeah, and by the way, if she was smart, she could have had both. She just had to do the other one first.
When she was done, when we got the picture, because I was cool with it. All right, cool. Yeah. Lean in, take the pic. I'm out. I mean, I wasn't half a step away. And she was just like, wait, I want your number 2. And I'm like, no.
You get one of the other.
But now, let me ask you a question. But what if, like...
And then she was like, persistent and begging almost at that. But like, come on, like, don't be that way. Come on. I'm like, no. Like, I gave you an option. And you told me which one of these things mattered more to you.
But now, is there a level of hotness she could have been to that you would have reneged on that, like, and been like, I'll switch it up?
Nah, I'm not like that. There's
nothing?
There is no Alex Earl level of hot or, Tyra Banks level of hot where once I peep that side of your personality, that I'll just ignore my dignity. There is no level of hot like that for me. Yeah. There's not.
Tyra Banks,
to me, so this is what guys do. Okay, this is what men do. When men meet women, we put you on a pedestal immediately in our minds. We just start imagining all of these things, all these ways in which you're great. You tell me if I'm wrong. We just start imagining all these ways in which you're great. we don't typically start off going like, oh, she could be this, she could have an STD, she could have,
never, because they never look like they have an STD,
right?
Some
we just
do,
don't
not
think
most of the time.
We just don't think that way.
Right.
We're so driven by the visual that when we see a woman immediately, it's just like that we're attracted to. It's like, oh, we just start imagining all the ways in which she's great.
Right.
So a woman's behavior or a woman, the way she interacts with you, either elevates that or starts chopping down at that quick.
I respect people. A lot of people don't want to say no, just in general. And I don't know if that's because people sometimes then push. Like, I don't like if someone says, hey, you want to come out? And I say no. And they go, oh, come on. I hate that.
Yeah.
And I don't like people that do that. But I always tell people, if I ask them something and they want to say no. I'm not that guy. I'm not going to put pressure on you. And I respect when someone's just like honest, says no, says there's a reason, and then you accept that.
That's
and
what
if you
I
don't accept it, then you're an asshole.
That's what I
But that's
respected with
perfect.
the girl when I asked her,
do.
do you want the photo or do you want my number? Is that she told me the truth.
But then she switched it up.
But then she switched it up, so that let me know.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, I'm cool with the Gemini switch up. Like, I'm not with the Gemini.
Well, Jaleel, I have a question for you. So, have you ever had a situation in which you've met a girl and she's given you like the, oh, I'd rather have your number situation, and then swap to like the, oh, can I get a pic? Can I get like that kind of thing? Or you, Joe, either like just like initially it's a situation where you think,
the
oh, she's
fangirl
cool.
starts to come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely had the fangirl start to come out, and that can be uncomfortable too, because if you're a public figure and people know you,
Yeah.
any public figure,
Yeah.
not just me, any public figure, they want to feel like, okay, let's acknowledge that,
Yeah.
and then let's move on. If they're letting you in or opening themselves up even to engage,
Yeah.
it's like, all right, we know that part. Come on, now let's move on. Let's just be chill. Let's be normal. So
Yeah.
like, okay, I'll give you an example, and this is not on a dating level, but like that kid Speed, right? I guess that's his name. He's like this super like YouTuber kid, and I see him all over the place. So I'm not trying to play him, but he's a big fan of Cristiano Ronaldo. And when he met Cristiano Ronaldo, he bugged the fuck out.
Oh.
No, like he bugged the fuck out, like he was on the spectrum.
Yeah.
And so you can see if you respect somebody else's humanity, not celebrity, humanity, you can see Cristiano go from being excited to meet the YouTuber who's supposed to be a big deal, who's a big fan, to just being polite and wary and like, okay, thank you, man. It was like, and appreciative.
Right.
Not dissing Cristiano.
Yeah.
But I can see Cristiano's window was down when he met him, and the window started going up with Speed's behavior.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And so it's like, and I heard somebody else actually give Speed the advice. He was like, dude, you're like a big deal yourself now. The next time you get around Cristiano Ronaldo, just chill.
Yeah.
And you'll probably get to know the guy on such an amazing level because he's offering you access because the whole world is approving of you at this point. You're a celebrity.
Right.
So just chill. Do less.
Is there anyone that you had to remind yourself of that you ever got around that you, in your inside, were like freaking out?
When I met Michael Jackson, I was definitely like, definitely taken aback, and I couldn't really find common ground for us to speak on. But that was also because Mike too, like.
Yeah, he's not the most common folk guy.
Yeah, but Mike would do weird. He'd do weird stuff. He wanted to talk about action figures and comic books and stuff like that or whatever. And I'm like, I'm 15 years old.
Oh shit.
So it was like,
You actually had a lot in common. You're like, what's your favorite train?
Right. So it was like the
Thomas?
conversation he wanted to have with me was kind of beneath my age, but at the same time, I'm in awe of the person. So I'm willing.
Well, at
To
15,
engage with that.
he had went below what you wanted to talk about.
Yeah,
That's
he had.
hilarious.
I met him at the.
I'm thinking you're an adult.
I met him at the NAACP Image Awards. I was summoned actually, and I won. And then one of the ads came to my chair at the after I got my award, and she said, "Mr. Jackson would like to meet you." And she was being coy on purpose, and she kneeled down during a commercial break, and my mom and dad were sitting next to me like, "What do you mean?" It was like nobody knew he was in the building. So he was a surprise, and he was downstairs in the basement. And I guess the game he was kind of running was everybody who was winning, he was having them come downstairs and greet him. So that's another conversation.
Did he
about
talk?
celebrity.
People said, I've heard the lore that he talked in a deep voice. Or at times would, or the high voice was more of something he put on?
I would believe that just like he enjoyed costumes, that Michael had many personas. And based on his mood, he would give you what he wanted to give you. So I don't doubt that he had a deeper speaking voice.
But do you think that was his real voice? What was the real voice then?
I wouldn't doubt that that the deeper voice was his real voice. I can see that he... It's hard to believe, but there's some celebrities who are so savvy about celebrity that they will turn themselves into a character of sorts.
That's like Paris Hilton. Like she like did an interview in her normal voice, and everyone was like, "Whoa, what happened to the squeaky high pitch? Kind of like, hi guys,"
right.
Because then she's speaking normally, and you're like, "What? Like this is just a completely different person." So I imagine that's the same thing with
some
Michael
celebrities
Jackson.
are so savvy like that, and I wouldn't doubt that with Michael, because I think Michael almost became bored with adult bad intentions, and so every interaction just became gamesmanship.
Yeah.
For him, and Prince was that way too. That's why he and Prince they were oil and water.
They didn't get along.
They were
rivals.
Well, they were rivals, but
for no real reason other than that they're the biggest pop stars.
Prince.
They're both so eccentric. Like I can imagine there would be that clash.
Prince, I'd have to say Prince was very jealous of Michael because Prince felt like he was a musician and he could play all these instruments, and he felt like just musically he felt like he had so much more talent than Michael.
Right.
But Michael was beloved, and so it was almost like an athlete. Like anytime Prince had to I want to show that guy up. I want the world to know that I'm better.
Yeah.
Prince made it an issue. Like even with We Are the World, like there's a whole, have you seen the We Are the World documentary?
I've seen some of that.
It's very consistent with what I know of those two, where it was just like, they wanted Prince there, but Prince was, working the whole angle from the phones through Sheila E.
Yeah.
Like, well, what's going on down there? And who's singing what part? And I don't know if that's for me. But still wanting to know everything that's going on in that room.
Yeah.
On some rival stuff.
Right.
Interesting.
But both of them, Michael was just a little more, I think, Michael was a little more comfortable in the rivalry.
Right.
And I can understand that because Michael's been performing since he was a kid.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Like, he had, America's love from day one, because it's like he's this, kind of, I mean, maybe you can relate to this, just the aspect of being a child star.
Oh, yeah.
America watched Michael Jackson grow up.
It gives you a comfort.
It gives you a
comfort.
You're like, these guys know me.
Yeah,
they're gonna take my side. They know me.
It's one of my favorite celebrity interactions of all time is Michael Jackson and Prince. And James Brown calls Michael Jackson on the stage. Have you ever seen this on YouTube?
Mm-mm.
No.
Oh my gosh. This is I wish young people enjoyed exploring history more with YouTube, because that's what it's for, is going back and looking at the old stuff.
Should we watch it?
Well, yeah, I'll describe it for you. You can watch it in your video. But basically, James Brown, who's known Michael since he was a little boy, calls Michael up on stage. Michael feigns not wanting to go on stage. He plays coy, but when he gets on stage, he's quick to inform James, hey, I just want to let you know Prince is here. Now, I don't know from a gamesmanship standpoint if Michael was doing that to deflect, or if he was doing that to actually ingratiate himself with Prince. I don't know what his motives were. But he went out of his way to say, hey, there's another celebrity here that you need to shout out. And James didn't really know Prince like that. But so he was like, hey, apparently Prince is here too. All right. Invites Prince to the stage. Now, when Michael went on stage, Michael was very reserved. Because everybody, once Michael gets on the stage, what do they want Michael to do? They want him to sing. They want him to dance.
Yep.
Michael hit half a note, a quick spin, and was like, yo, I'm done. I'm done. Just gave the crowd a taste. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Gave him a couple Skittles out the bag. That's it, right?
Yeah.
Now Michael tells James about Prince. And Prince comes on the stage. Okay. Now when Prince comes on the stage, Prince sees it as a challenge. I am on stage with James Brown. Michael Jackson just did his thing. Now I'm about to show everybody I'm better. Prince bugs out. Prince takes his shirt off. Prince grabs a guitar. Prince starts licking his tongue and his lips in a weird, seductive way. And you can see James is being respectful because this is still his concert.
Right.
So it's like, I don't fully understand what this young man is doing, but I guess he's Prince. So we're going to let him have a moment. It ends in the most incredible way ever. Prince, with his shirt off, jumps onto this like totem pole that's on the stage to like spin on the pole or something. Like he's clearly searching for his moment. It's not bolted down, the pole.
Stop.
The
Oh my
pole
God.
falls into the crowd, and James, just as smooth as ever, just picks up the mic and is like, "Hey, that was Prince, everybody. All right, let's get back to the show." It is the most. Prince apparently
That was Prince,
was
everybody.
mortified
Oh, yeah.
by this moment for years, because in his mind, he felt Michael called him up for a challenge and showed him up.
Yeah.
And in my mind, when
And
I
he
look
didn't do
at
too
it-
much either.
Exactly.
Like Michael's just like.
With my mind, when I look at
Skittles.
it, just knowing a little bit about celebrity life,
Yeah.
seeing what took place, what I would do, what others would do that I know, I look at it and I'm like, oh nah, Mike did the courteous thing. You got in your own head about what this rivalry was, and you did too much.
Yeah.
And since it went left, and literally left the stage,
It's like.
it was a lightning moment in their relationship forever. It's totally worth watching these
But he
clips.
puts that on Michael that he fell off.
Yeah, he kind of put the whole confrontation of it all on Michael. I put where it went completely on Prince,
Yeah, of course.
because I just know how he would get petty about things.
Yeah.
And you can see it was like, dog, you didn't have to do all that. You could have came up and sang 2 strains of the
I know.
national anthem and everybody would have been happy.
Yeah, and everyone been like, oh, he's like not this like crazy, because then it just seems like he's, like going overboard, and then he did literally go overboard, and so he lost.
The ego in
Sorry.
psychology is like, it's fascinating
Oh,
by
of
celebrities and people. Can I
celebrities.
ask you a current one and we can cut it if you don't want to use it? Because I know I've been really dying to know this question, what you think about this. If like, what do you think Drake and LeBron are friends, supposedly? We think. LeBron goes to the Kendrick concert, and obviously Drake feels very betrayed. I can't figure out, unless something happened behind the scenes before that, but it doesn't seem like there is. And LeBron has a pretty, image of being a good dude or family guy, all these things. Why does he go to that concert knowing everyone's going to be like, unless you're trying to make a point that you don't like your friend anymore? Like, I couldn't figure that out.
There are some celebrities who are drawn to what's hot. No different than any regular degular. It's like, yo, that's hot. That's hot.
Yeah.
I gotta be near that. And then there's another celebrity that is drawn to what serves them on a human level. Like, I don't care if that's hot. Does that serve me? Do I belong in that room? How does that serve me? I'm gonna let you extract from that what you want, but it clearly answers.
that makes sense.
It clearly answers your question. I think he was drawn to what was extremely hot
Right.
Yeah.
at the time,
Right.
and that being at Kendrick's show in
Yeah, it was the hottest concert in that moment.
at the Forum that day was like
On Juneteenth.
this was the place to.
It's almost like you couldn't. You're saying
Right.
like it was almost like there's a version where he might not have been able to help it. Like, how could I miss this?
No, I said there's different celebrities.
Yeah.
Right.
I said there's somebody. I'm a different person. It doesn't make one better than the other. It's just you got to recognize we all have different personalities. And I'm saying, like, there's certain people, I don't care how hot their event is. If I don't jive with what they are,
Yeah.
I ain't going in there.
Right.
All right? Like, it could be the hottest thing going, but if
Yeah.
what they stand for is just not what represents me, or we have a conflict of interest,
Yeah.
like they mistreated somebody that I know, or
Right.
or this, you know what I'm saying, or then I'm just not going to go.
Right.
But there's another professional public figure that's the hottest spot to be. I'm going to be there.
I'm gonna remember that when you bring up that other comedian's name. But we're not gonna say it. But I'm gonna put that. Don't forget this conversation.
But hold on.
Don't forget this conversation.
This is recorded, so this is great. We're gonna bring it
We're
up.
not gonna say the person though.
Joseph has a rivalry with another.
I wouldn't say a rivalry, but yeah.
Well, it's definitely not a rivalry because the other
beef.
comedian doesn't even know that it happened.
You always say this. He always says this. That's not true.
But you have an
He's
issue.
nice to me, though.
You have an issue
No,
with
he
the
does
way
know.
a particular comedian treated you in the past.
We have a beef.
I totally respect that. However, because it happened before I knew you, I would absolutely go to any one of his shows and not feel bad at
Yeah, but you know me now.
Yeah, I do know you now.
You got to know the story more.
And I know him too. And I have
But
no
did you
problem.
know him before me?
Ooh, this
Yes,
is-
I did.
Oh.
I don't. When did you meet?
I'm not saying that we were like super
Wait, when
buddy,
did you meet him?
But we followed each other back and we
Well,
interacted in the DMs.
Okay, so what
Absolutely.
year was that?
Oh, this got to be somewhere around 2019.
Oh wow, he figured like you knew, right? Because you knew he met in 2020.
No.
So you said I gotta put this DM.
If I tell you
in 19.
We're gonna move something.
gotta pull up the DM.
If I tell you the truth and you don't want to hear it, that's
I
I'm
hear
like,
it. No, I'm listening. All right, I'll take it at face value.
You know me. I find comedians and talented people very early in
But-
their careers, and
but
I'm like,
now-
yo, you're gonna be the shiznit. Just because he's the shiznit now, when I started following this cat, he was just organically funny and was doing his thing. Now, I do not condone if he did you dirty behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I know one day I'm laughing at it because I know one day this beef will get squashed. But if you guys want to wait until 2030 to do it, that's your business.
And you'll be on the podcast.
No, this
Like,
is
completely
this
just-
is Ja
just-
Rule 50 Cent. It's not coming back. It's not coming back. But
ends in a
I gotta
duel.
off camera. I don't think I ever told
I think you
what
should just
happened.
settle it on a basketball court.
He would get destroyed.
I know he would.
he'd
but,
get destroyed.
But guess what?
Say that again though. You know.
No, I know. My money would be on you.
Yeah.
100%.
My money would be on you.
Because Joe hoops like a brother. Like he
Yeah.
hoops. All right.
He has the shoes.
But I also saw him in a basketball challenge opposite somebody who was very formidable, and he played him tough.
Yeah.
That's why I know
we'll
this
talk
could get
about this
settled on a
another-
basketball court.
It wouldn't get settled. It would end up in like a fight. But listen, I'm gonna play. Remember the clip you said there? I think it still applies. I don't think it actually matters when we met. I think it depends where the relationship is at. That's what I think.
Well, you
but you also don't know the full details, so we'll hold our judgment. But it's good for the.
So in your
for the
beef
podcast.
though, who's Prince, who's Michael Jackson?
Well, that's extreme because
Don't-
we're talking about now celebrity. So I feel like it's not a rivalry. It's has nothing to do with comedy.
No, this was
Has nothing to do with the profession.
No, this was the way he was treated personally.
No,
Right.
that's true. Yeah.
I mean, it intertwines
this
with
was some-
comedy, but it's not like
This was some
competing.
this was some
for
personal.
Yeah,
jokes.
We're
This was some
not-
personal
yeah.
interaction between two comedians that went left.
Right. It's not like it has to do with comedy, but it's not based on like, oh, who's filling a room, or obviously he's doing fucking arenas, so it has nothing to do with that. But
And you got to pick your battles. You know, there's an element of competition in the world where if somebody went to here and you both started here,
Yeah.
how does it serve you to maintain beef with them?
well, it's more of a. Yeah, I see what you're saying, but I think if it's a real, what do you call it? It's
Because I know some people who don't like me professionally, and they're
Right.
like really hot. And it got back to me, some things that these people, said and thought about me. And it's like, oh, okay. Now, I've never met this person.
Yeah, but see, that's so different.
I've never met this person.
But it's easier for.
But I would not give this person the satisfaction of letting them know that I know they have an issue with me. And it makes no sense because we've never met.
Yes, but that's why you're able to do it.
Yeah.
If you had an actual interaction and you personal,
Oh, I've done
then
that
it would
too.
be. But I'm just, yeah. But I think if it went to a certain level, you wouldn't.
Bro,
you wouldn't maintain.
I'm telling you, I got some cats where it's gone to that level. But if I saw them out in the street, it's in my book. It's a chapter. Just be nice.
It's true.
Yeah.
There's that Mace quote, the rich people
Oh,
quote.
yeah.
If someone is mad you're getting money, that means they aren't getting money. There's like that.
Yeah, and I forget
is-
because what's your guy? Because that's true. Obviously, if someone was,
We have to play the take.
Oh, the video that he
Yeah.
said it.
If someone's mad, you getting money. It means you're not getting money. Is that what it was?
Yeah,
Is that
yeah.
accurate?
No, that's what it was. No, that's what he said, and I think that does.
No,
hold-
it means if someone's mad, you getting money. It means they aren't getting money.
right. But okay, so here's where I think obviously is
Oh,
true.
yeah,
That's obviously
there's
true.
a lot of-
but
That's common jealousy.
But yes, that's common jealousy.
I don't think that's that deep, actually.
No,
That's
it's
just
not.
common
No, it's
jealousy.
not. But here's why it stood out to me, because I feel like I know a lot of rich people that still won't want to see someone get money.
yes,
that's
no,
broke.
I know
so
that too.
that's why it's not just they're already getting money, but they'll hate on or want to stop someone from getting more money.
Yeah.
So that quote doesn't apply in that. So that's why I mean it's like a broader, conversation. That's just my take.
Well, I mean, earlier we were talking about, like you were saying
dating
how
game.
the dating game has changed so much, and
Yeah.
like, now that you guys are both technically like you're out of the dating
Oh,
game.
I'm gone, baby.
You're out.
I'm
like you
out.
vacated.
I'm
I'm
out.
so happy to be gone.
Me
I'm
too.
gone. I
I'm
never thought I'd
very-
feel this way.
You've never you're done.
I never thought I'd feel this way. I'm out.
I'm
And-
so happy to be done.
Yeah.
It's a good place to be, and there's so much less to worry
But it
about.
doesn't mean like I don't say it like quitting on life. It's just that I now get a chance to focus on all the things that I wanted to focus on when I was trying to get to know you.
Right.
When I said, "Hey, let's go to Gladstone," for to the girl at Bruin Walk.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to do anything creepy.
Right.
I was just like, it was a person that I placed on a pedestal, and I'm like, I know I can make some cool memories for you and with you.
Yeah.
And it was like it was really that chill.
Yeah.
And I was confident in my ability to do that.
Right.
So now I get a chance to do that only in my life with people that presumably will appreciate it, where the memories can just build and build and build and build and build.
Right. Yeah.
But also, when you meet your person, you don't feel like a need. You don't feel like you're giving up anything.
Right. Exactly.
That's how you know.
But I still date. No, I'm saying like, but I.
Well, yeah, like once you get married, the dating doesn't stop.
like,
Oh, yeah.
You
mean
date
date-
your partner.
I
you
thought you
don't
meant
give
someone
up.
else.
No, fool. No,
Because you said I still date.
He's
He's like,
That's
I
what you
still
said.
date. He's like, I still date.
I'm like,
No. You date.
I think that's important. If
I know,
you're-
but where
if you're in
did
a
I say I
relation-
didn't?
If you no, you didn't. But I think that's important. I don't think a lot of people
Know that, to do that.
know to do that.
No,
Yeah.
no. Hunter, I've said to my
When you're in a
girl,
relationship, you have to still date your partner.
One, that is the best advice you can give a relationship. We always say that we have to remind ourselves, like, sometimes we'll get in a habit of staying home too much and watching movies, which is great, and it's also, we love that, but you got to remember, like, oh no, we still need to go dress up, go out, go on dates, go to dinners, go to events, because if you get too caught up and being too comfortable, then things you're almost getting too familiar
That just
in a
reminded
weird
me, I
way.
have a date tonight. I didn't even realize. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm getting the Dover Soul.
See, there you go.
There you go.
But that was hilarious. The way you said that. You said, I still date. I mean, motherfucker, I'm in a relationship. I'm married, but I still do my thing. That was the best. Could you ever be in an open relationship?
I mean, I know we on a podcast, but let's not get crazy. I mean,
No, I don't mean, I'm just saying in life. Like, just put a hypothetical around it. Or in a past thing, if you were with a girlfriend. I'm saying, could you have ever entertained that in your entire life?
You know, I will say this though. I am very much an open to suggestion kind of guy. Now, it doesn't mean I have to take your suggestion.
Yeah.
It doesn't even mean I reserve the right to reverse course. But I just fundamentally,
I could have done it depending on how much I liked the girl. Like, if I wasn't like fall like head
Now,
over
when I say
heels.
open to suggestion, I got somebody hit the pause button too. I don't want to get killed on that.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
about?
yeah, please,
Open
God.
with suggestion. Oh man.
When
Open
it
for suggestion.
it comes to my lady,
Yeah.
I'm very much an open to suggestion.
Could you do an
kind of
open?
guy.
No,
Okay.
I don't think
What
so.
if you weren't super into the guy? Like, you were like, this is fun. But I guess that's not a
Are you
relationship.
are you
then.
possessive?
But I guess that's not a
wouldn't-
relationship then.
I'm not particularly possessive, so much as it's like, well, I would be concerned if there were things that we normally did together that now you want to go do with somebody else more than me.
Right.
So it's like, well, that just means you want a new relationship.
Well, I
You see
wouldn't-
what I'm saying? So that's why I was
Yeah,
like, what are we talking about?
But a
here?
lot of people
life
now-
can get
Yeah,
creative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even think I would like necessarily, because you said like, oh, what if you didn't like the guy? I wouldn't waste my time.
Yeah. I guess that didn't.
'Cause I'm
I
only
guess I
going
meant
into
like. I guess I
relationship-
meant like you're in it, but you probably know. There's a lot of girls who are in relationships and they kind of know deep down, I'm not going to marry this guy.
Now-
But-
Right. But yeah, I mean, like for me personally, I don't think I would even like enter that relationship, and then I wouldn't even. My second thought wouldn't be, oh, this guy's great. I'm like, trying him on for size, but like, I'm not gonna marry him, whatever. Oh,
Yeah.
let's add another person into this. That's just like for
Yeah,
me, I'd
yeah.
be like, okay, wasting
that's
time.
fair.
Let's
Yeah.
end this, and then let me go.
Well, what if you were super in love and he said this is his one request?
I'd be
And
like,
you're
no.
and you're in love, but he's just like, I can't continue the relationship unless I have a side piece across the town.
Well, that would just be like a
it's
no
wild.
for me. Like I would, because
See,
personally, just
Yeah,
I'd be
see,
like, no,
you-
it's me.
so
Or,
your suggestions.
But he
are,
says it respectfully.
Nah,
He's telling you
your
about it.
suggestions are dark.
Why is that dark? Hold on. Can I give you the scenario?
I was more or less thinking I'm in Brazil, and I'm with a Brazilian woman, and she says, "Oh, I want you to hang out with my friend for the weekend because I have to go visit. I have to go visit my other friend, and her other friend is a guy, and the friend that she just hooked me with is fire." And you just want me to babysit her for the weekend?
Oh, so you're saying well, right? It works for you too. I guess it
So
works both
she-
ways.
So she kind of left me. She kind of left me, you know,
She
in
left-
a
she-
room. She kind of left me in a room like a golden retriever with toys and things to play with.
Yeah.
Until she comes back.
She didn't just leave you. She was like,
Yeah.
she was
Is that
like,
an
and
open
here's-
relationship? Is that an open?
Well, it could be. It definitely works both ways. Yeah, that's the thing. He also would say to you, like, hey, you know, if you see a cute guy on set, do your thing for the day. So it would work both ways. And you guys are both in love.
Yeah, see, like I feel like me personally, because I'm like, we're gonna.
You seem possessive.
I am possessive. Wait, let's just get this off the table right now. I'm a little crazy in
Yeah,
relationships
yeah.
in the sense that I'm like,
That's cool.
and that's fine. Like I'm like, if I'm
It's just
with
more
somebody,
important
it's
to
just
know
like
yourself.
it's
We
just
know
me.
Skylar with Alex Earl she could tell him anything. This
He'd
will
be
be a
like, whatever.
relationship, but I'm gonna see other guys. Skylar will be like, whatever you need
good.
to do,
Whatever you need.
whatever you want. I'll be there. I'll watch.
I already knew it.
He's like, I'll watch whatever you want.
This dude is down to watch.
It's like in the corner right now. He's like, I'm not watching
down to
this.
Timer starts now.
You're like, come quick, just make it fast, but I'll watch.
God. But yeah, no, I'd be like, no, it's I'm walking. Like I
Yeah,
would
yeah.
just walk.
All right, fair enough. But we got into this right because
Oh, we want to talk a little bit about
Yeah.
like, you know, just dating
Dating.
today because it's so different than what I imagined. Because like
it's crazy.
it's so crazy. I mean, like I feel like people now, you know, you're more likely to go on a Hinge, Tinder, like not sponsored, like date than you are to like, you know, be approached by somebody. And so I feel like there's a lot of different norms as well.
Right.
So it's like, what about like even paying on the first date?
does
like,
a guy have to pay on a first date with you?
with me?
Yeah, or just in general, whatever you think.
Is that a thing?
Typically,
Do they
yeah.
have to? Like, if they don't, that's like, if it went great and then he said split it, is that then not a second date?
So I feel like this is kind of something that I like hold true is like if I'm going on a date and it's going well and he offers to pay, then I'm like, okay, you know what? This is great. Like we had a really nice meal. Like thank you for treating me to this nice meal. Like whatever. If I'm on a date and it's going awry, it's just not good. Like the vibes are off. Like I don't want this man to pick up the check. I will fight for the check.
Oh, I get you. Now,
Because
I like that though.
I don't want to feel like I owe this guy anything.
Yeah, anything.
Right.
Not even a hug.
Not
Like,
even a
yo,
hug.
My man.
I'm not even like
My man.
My man.
I'm like, you're
you know
out.
it's bad when you go, my man.
man.
My
Let's
man.
pick this up. But I think I always have wondered this because I've always paid on a first date, but I have often wondered if you don't know the girl that well and you both don't even know if you like each other and you want to know if the girl's there for the right reason, I actually don't think that splitting is crazy. But that's just because I would think as a girl, you'd want the guy to know, okay, I'm here for the right reasons. We don't know because you don't even know if you like each other. So it's like now if we go on second and third dates, then yeah, you want to show the gesture of paying. I've always paid on the first date anyway because I feel too awkward not to and I don't want to take a chance of messing it up. But I do wonder, is splitting acceptable or should be more acceptable on a first date?
And I feel like it depends. Like if I'm on a first date and, you know, they're like, hey, do you mind if we split it? But the date went really well. But also there isn't that kind of like, oh, I'm splitting it because like, you know, like it just kind of it depends.
He might not. You might also
I'll
not
be
be able
honest.
to. Maybe he's not also super financial. You know, I mean, there also could be that
Yeah,
element
that
to
part
it as well.
That part. I'm not a fan of splitting.
Yeah, I would just say take me to like
I'm just not a fan of splitting. I think
What do
split-
you do now on dates
Splitting a tab on
with your wife?
well,
Do you split
my
it?
wife will grab it.
Do you grab it? Do you change?
My
do you
wife
go
will
back
grab
and
it, but
forth?
my wife picks up so many other little things too that I love how that's not an issue
Yeah.
in our relationship. But you know, the ratio definitely goes far more in my favor in terms of me grabbing the check.
Right.
And I think, I don't know, I'm old school and I
Yeah, I am too. I agree.
I enjoy, picking up the tab.
Yeah.
To be quite honest,
I don't know if I say enjoy, but
I
do it.
actually prefer. No, because it's like because there's dating and then there's a jump off.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't even know if people even use that terminology anymore.
It's
jump
the
off.
girls you had flying in.
That's
That's what I should have said.
They
No,
import
They
export.
would
No,
jump off. Jaleel, they would jump off.
No,
How many were their girlfriends?
I'm not gonna disrespect those ladies. I'm not gonna disrespect those ladies. Because listen, I got hoes too in those circumstances. No, I'm serious. I got hoes.
Jump off, by the way, is a nicer word. I'm gonna start using that in my
Jump
vocabulary.
off used to be a great.
No, I'm gonna use that now.
terminology.
Jump offs.
Listen,
My
that
jump offs.
always didn't go in my favor.
Yeah.
Import export didn't always one time.
I love how import export's better than hose.
Oh, import export business is fantastic.
That's the same
that's
thing.
what
You
we call
can
it.
write that off in your taxes. You're
We-
like, oh, okay. You know.
He's writing them over
We
the
call
taxes.
we would call it the import
The
export
IRS
business.
is like, seems legit.
No,
all right.
one girl I did fly out.
Import, export.
And as soon as she got there, she arrived. I could tell immediately her energy was off. And I was like, what's going on? Like, because I got her own hotel room and everything. Like, I don't even like that awkwardness. You know what I'm saying? So, but she was like, yeah, so we're going to dinner immediately. And I could tell her energy's off. And she's like, I don't want you to hate me if I tell you, something that happened to me this morning. And I'm like, look, just tell me. And she's like, the girl's like, she took the worst flight to get here too. Like, she booked it. I reimbursed her, but she booked it. So it took her like freaking 9 hours to get to practically fly.
Yeah.
Fly her. But she says, don't hate me. She's like, my boyfriend followed me to the airport this morning. I'm like, what do you have me in the middle of? And so bottom line was, I could afford to fly her someplace that seemed pretty cool and exciting to go snowboarding and skiing.
Yeah.
And so she rather jumped at that and was going to do it behind her boyfriend's back. And homeboy obviously got wind, followed her to the airport, and they had an exchange, and she still got on the damn plane. That's what's wild, because he was telling her don't get on the plane.
Oh,
She
right.
still got on the damn plane.
But see, had it been an open relationship, no
Right.
problem.
Oh, you're a goofball.
That's what I'm saying. No
You're a
problem. It
you're
would
a
have
goof-
worked out.
You're a goofball. Clearly, they did not have an open relationship, though. And it was like, that was very uncomfortable. And I immediately booked her a flight. It was like, you got to get out. And what sucks is she still ended up coming snowboarding with me and my boys. And
Still snowboarding?
She it was like, when a woman fixates on something they want, she wanted a free snowboarding trip.
Did you think about asking
That
for the
she was
money?
willing to make it as weird as ever. She was getting on that mountain.
Did you think about
Wow.
asking for the money back?
Oh, trust me, I wanted to. And trust me, I was clowning her behind her back to my boys, whatever, because they knew the deal at this
Yeah,
point. It
yeah.
was just
Yeah.
like, she's just a stray hanging with us at this point. It's like, yeah, but we couldn't get her on a flight immediately turning around. The next flight was the next day, because it was a remote ski location.
Yeah.
So the next available flight wasn't until next day, until freaking 2:00 in the afternoon or something like that. So she got to go snowboarding with us. And that's what I mean, where I was like, I've been in so many circumstances in my life where I had to just be nice. Because if you escalated the situation into being nasty and petty, then it can just go to a whole ugly spot. So that import export, game,
But
that goes both ways.
But I like that you said,
sometimes
you've
you
been,
pay for something and what arrives off the plane ain't good for you.
I like that you said, because you talk about maintaining relationships and not starting beefs, and you said being nice. So I get that. I understand that. No, I understand that mentality. But for the record, I've been nice enough. So if I get mad, just know I fucked up. You fucked up. I'm nice enough. But I always think about girls who have played me out, and I always think about to this day of still sending them like an invoice for some shit. I'm
different. I rather send them their favorite pair of shoes or something really nice and be like, that was nothing.
When I had
that ain't nothing compared to what my lady about to get.
But
I hope you're having a good year.
That's
good.
That's more diabolical.
Good year.
That's actually really good.
That's something
Like,
Drake would do. That's diabolical. But I remember going to Hillstones, our favorite restaurant, which we'll talk about on another podcast. I'm obsessed with it. But when I was broke, had no money, taking this girl out, it was like the third date, and I knew it wasn't still going anywhere. We hadn't even kissed, done nothing. Third date, she orders the $142 thing on the menu. And I just remember the $142 thing. And of course, nothing happened after. did anything, and I still think about that.
But Joseph,
$42.
you got it. That's why I think it's important for even a guy to establish, is this a jump off or is this a date? Because if it is
I was
a date,
confused, apparently.
because if it is a date, all right, and you don't have it like that with her, then the guy should pay, and I think guys should actually chill and get their life in order before and be able to afford to take a woman out
Right.
properly.
Get their life in order.
Now we'll say this.
That's funny.
Now on the flip side of that, that's my game show, by the way. Flip side, check us out.
Oh, shit.
Two times a day in every market.
That's
Two
smart.
times a day in every market.
That's smart.
On the flip side, though, of that, you know, there are girls who could be into you enough that they are just coming over for Netflix and chill and some Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
And that was a whole outing. And I'm like, you can't discount what that means in your life either. You know what I'm saying? Because dating costs. You have to spend money to investigate. And so I don't think you should enter that arrangement, you know, being like, can we split it?
Yeah. If you don't got the money, if you don't got the money to play, don't enter the game.
If you ain't got the money to play, like, I mean, I walk through casinos all the time. And I walk past any table I know I can't afford. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just not doing that.
Yeah, 100%.
But I even feel like with even the paying on the first date thing, it's like, even if like, because I went on a first date that was to Chick-fil-A once, but I was so into the guy. So this was the best Chick-fil-A
Yeah. All
ever
right.
had in my
well,
life.
Now we getting somewhere.
You'd have to be
And I was
to go to
like,
the date on the Chick-fil-A.
No. Now we're getting somewhere. Because let me tell you something. I can't stand hearing all this first date nonsense in the podcast world. Because the truth of the matter is, if a woman really likes a dude like that,
that's true. They'll go anywhere.
She don't care where
That's
they
true.
go.
I
That's
did
true.
not care.
They
I
can
was
go
like,
to
whatever.
Chili's. They can go to Raising Cane's. They can go bowling.
That's
they can
true.
whatever.
You're right. That's a good sign.
They
That's
can
what,
stay in. They can order takeout.
Yeah.
So when I see a woman that's, you know, all dressed up a little too much with the eyelashes and whatever, talking about, well, he didn't pay for my first date. I'm not, honey, you're not even looking for a dude. You're looking for sponsorship.
Yeah.
True.
And I just know that. And the other thing about women that I do know also is, and I had to learn this the hard way just growing up, is if a woman won't spend no money on you, she don't like you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean, I'm not talking about gigolo stuff, but I mean, like, if she won't go into her purse for even the smallest, you know, payment, your Chick-fil-A, your Raising Cane's,
Yeah.
or whatever, or, your movie ticket or whatever, like,
Right.
she got to the theater first and you're running late, you're looking for parking. She's like, oh, I already got this, I got everything, I'm inside, I left your ticket, at the kiosk.
Well, because I think it could be cute
That
too.
girl
like,
likes you, man.
like
yeah, of course.
you get
No, you're
the
right.
tickets.
That's the most gesture.
They buy the
that's-
snacks.
Yeah.
That's cute. I think that's cute.
That's you.
No,
I
it is
remember
cute.
For a first date, maybe not.
I got my, you know how I
But-
learned that? I learned that such a hard way. There was a girl, I lived in Pasadena growing up as a kid.
Okay.
And I met a girl that lived in Redondo Beach. So for anybody who knows distance in LA,
Yeah.
give me the New York equivalent, please, of that so that people on the East Coast can understand. What is Pasadena?
Yeah, I mean, well,
Pasadena is the
that'd
210
be-
to the 134 to the 101 to the 405 to Redondo
I guess you
Beach.
could. I mean, I guess you could say it's like dating a girl if you live in New York City and she lives
different
in
borough.
Long Island.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be like, and especially like if it's middle to deep Long Island. But I think that's about accurate with
Right?
traffic.
I would drive with an 11 o'clock curfew to pick her up at Redondo Beach,
Yeah.
go out, do whatever we were going to do, and then race home to try to beat curfew by 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
I spent most of the date on the road.
Yeah,
all right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I remember one time I picked her up and brought her all the way back to Westwood to a movie theater. And I was starting to sense that she didn't even come out of the house with a purse. Like she wasn't even coming out of the house with a purse. This is probably about our third date at this point. And so I pulled up in front of the old man village. Oh my gosh, the Man Theater, the Man National, the old Man National in Westwood. I pulled up and I was like, yo, I got to park. She was like, I said, can you get the tickets? And she was like, no, I'll wait with you. She was adamant. I'll park with you and walk with you. And I did this on purpose because I was starting to be concerned. And I was like, we were legitimately going to be late. Like I wanted to be able to park my car and just run right in. And my ticket was just kind of, you could do that back in the day. It was like, oh, I left your ticket. Cool. Go right in. And I told her twice. I said, please, just get the ticket. Finally, I reached into my pocket. I gave her a $20 bill. And I was like, please, can you, I didn't break though. I said, please, just go get the tickets. Once I pulled out the 20, got it, done. And that was the last date I went on with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's a good test, though.
And that was just a $20 test way back in 19 like freaking
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a good test. You're smart
early
for doing
90s,
that.
but it was just like I really did detect. I was like, she don't want to spend even like
Yeah.
$10 on me.
Yeah.
well, that's funny that immediately when you said she didn't bring a purse, I was like thinking about me and I was like, well, I never bring a purse because I have Apple Pay.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah, well, you're in a different generation.
I'm like, I don't know.
Dude, that's
bring a
why
purse.
I gotta-
anyway, that's funny.
I gotta do the TV show, man, because I just feel like people need to see how it all used to go down, man.
It was better. I think it was better
Get a
time.
girl's number on the napkin. You know what I'm saying?
It's so different.
I'm like, they're airdropping me their number, their contact info. I'm like, great.
Okay,
Whip
we're
'em
gonna
up.
wrap it up soon. But here's the last question for you. Okay.
What's up?
Okay, last one, and anyone can chime in on this. Obviously, this is just a normal, everyday kind of question. Do you believe? This is what I believe. If you have sex, right, in a course,
Oh, that's a long
yeah,
word.
not using, and you wear prophylactics, as my dad would say, do you believe that doesn't count?
Good luck with that.
I personally believe it doesn't really count because it's just you're going against plastic for the majority of the session, and you don't really know what she feels like.
Wow.
So
That's-
I don't count that in my. I'm just like, you know, it was some friction that happened. You know, can you understand that?
You gotta be really rich to pull that off, bro.
All right,
You gotta get really rich for a woman to say that doesn't count.
that's just what I believe. I just don't, you know, I don't feel like it's the
Chloe,
real thing.
chime in. Let him know it doesn't.
I just don't
count.
think it's the real
Let him know
thing.
what you think.
You could no.
Hi, Mom.
Oh, you don't even want to comment on it.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah, so you could be depending if you've had enough protected sex in your life, you could say you're born again.
Oh no, I was. Oh, hilarious.
I would agree that you could be. You could
Skylar,
say-
what do you think?
I mean, dude, if that doesn't count, like, that should count, I think. 'Cause,
It could count for your ego. I just mean
if
like.
it doesn't count...
Oh yeah. Skylar always gets to hit the mic in
If
for the
it
last
do-
word.
If it doesn't count, then it's like... If you're like... That's like a crazy statement. It's like, I'm some guy who I want to fuck raw. If I don't fuck raw, like, you don't count. That's just insane.
Yeah, I think you're in the serious minority on this one,
All right, no, that's fine. That's fair. That's why I asked the question.
and that's why I gave you an out. I was like, look,
I don't think.
if you rolling in dough like that, sure, there's some women out there that will
look,
tell you
I
that
can't-
that it doesn't.
I'm not
count.
saying I don't
They'll
count-
let you hear that.
I'm not saying I don't count it like I don't say like, oh, this didn't happen. This session didn't happen. I'm just saying, but I don't really count it in the grand scheme of like what sex is, because you're just going against
You
plastic.
only consider sex if it's just raw.
I would say that's more of like, that was the real experience. Like, here's the thing. If my girl said she had sex with some dude and I said it was with a condom, she's like, yeah. I'm like, I don't, but I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like, not saying, I'm saying in the past. I don't, but that doesn't like.
I don't even want to
But-
say your girl's name. I'm like,
No.
she.
I'm saying if I said to her, if I asked
Your
her.
girl now gets a prophylactic hall pass.
No, not while we're together. Let me reframe that.
Yeah,
So,
you need to frame this.
so what I'm
very
saying-
carefully.
what I'm
This is a
saying, what I'm
crazy
saying is,
statement.
if she said in the past, let's say she's talking about in the past, she hooked up with someone, and I say condom or no condom, and then she says condom, I go, yeah, I'll slap that dude's hand tomorrow. There's no weird interaction. That's how I view it. That's how I think it. So I'm both ways. I'm equal opportunist.
Do you really mean that shit?
As far as what mean it as what?
Like you really mean that? Like
That
if
I
you-
don't. That I wouldn't.
That you really wouldn't. You would care less. You care more about what.
Oh
is
yeah,
It,
definitely care less.
what is it about the meat on meat, the raw versus the
Well,
prophylactic?
because that means they more experienced your girl.
Wow. I guess. Ooh.
They were only feeling plastic, so I'm like, he doesn't really know what it's like. You can't understand the
Joe,
logic
you're the
of that.
only one cracking yourself up on this.
You
one.
can't
You're the only one
understand.
cracking
You
yourself
can't
up.
understand
You're
the
only
logic.
one.
I'm just loving this.
You
You
don't-
can't
This is
understand.
perfect.
Well, how do you not understand the logic doesn't make sense?
No.
Okay, are you feeling plastic or are you not feeling plastic?
Joe, I can see all the comments.
Can you
right
wait?
now,
I'm just asking.
I can see them,
but
and
can
they're
you,
not in your face.
Wait, but
I
wait.
can see
but
them.
just,
It's like, oh,
I just want
10
you.
more just popped up. He crazy. He
Wait,
crashing out.
wait.
He crashing out. He crashing
Wait, just answer though. Just answer. Just answer one question. Remember, we said we started the podcast. Bring it back to direct answers. Are you feeling plastic or are you feeling her during the sex? Just that's all I'm asking.
Oh no, I was very safe.
No, but not no.
I was safe for so long.
We're not getting the direct.
Okay, wait. So wait. Hold
It's
on.
a yes or no.
What do you mean?
Are you feeling the plastic if you're having protected sex, or are you feeling her?
Nah, that's not a direct question. That's weird.
How is that not a direct question?
That's weird.
How is that not a direct?
Because that you're basically you're doing an ad right now for no safe sex.
No, I'm not saying you should. I'm not saying.
And I'm not doing that ad. I'm like, I think you could have terrific sex with somebody.
I didn't say you couldn't have good
with a condom.
I didn't say it wasn't good. I didn't say you couldn't have good. I'm just asking if you were. That was just. Are you feeling plastic or not?
There's a different level of connection here that has to do with the skin on skin contact with you, and it's getting weird.
I think you could have the skin on skin is more intimate.
No shit.
Yeah, so
that's
what I'm
why
saying.
we have prophylactics,
right?
To cut down on some of that intimacy.
Yes. I think that you're agreeing.
Where are we going with this shit?
I think you actually agree, but I think this is a perfect way to end it on this, because I think we agree.
Wait, what are we talking about? You can get very.
You don't think we agree,
confusing.
Skylar? You chime in.
Please try to wrap this up because he's not doing it.
You right now, you are a true artist. You sound like Rick Rubin explaining sex. You're like you have to really feel her insides.
But wait, all right, Skylar, can I ask you the question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you, if you're having sex, protected?
Yeah.
Are you feeling plastic or are you feeling hurt? That's just my question. You just answer that, and then we move on. What are you feeling?
You're feeling plastic, but I don't know.
Physically, right? You might feel something mentally. No one's disputing that. I just asked physically.
I mean, to be honest with you, bro, like I'm busting a nut no matter what. So, like it works.
I feel like
me.
Christian wants to do that.
No. I don't know. We're all chiming in here. I'm just saying.
We're all chiming in here trying to save you.
Also, bro, you feel boobs, her tits, and her ass.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Like
that's true. No, I not.
That's
true.
If my homie was playing with my girlfriend's tits, I'd be like, that's
I'm out.
not cool.
I'm out on this one.
But that's if
Thank
you're
you
together.
so
if that's if
much
you're together.
for tuning in to our episode.
I'm out.
Joseph and Jaleel, thank you for being here.
Do we have to say anything at the end?
We just got rid of all of our sponsors. Nabisco will no longer be joining us.
We are going to
might
be
get
editing.
condoms.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode. Jaleel, Joseph, thank you. We had some great combos today, and we'll see you next time.